Assalamu alaikum, Basha Salamat, Assalamu alaikum, President Trump, President Biden, AG Bondi, Prince MBS, and everyone in the team, Ado Callaghan, and everyone in the team, I say Assalamu alaikum, and just see, I love Snowman, Let It Snow, Let It Snow was one of my favorite songs, So today is like a Saturday night fever, and I just love it, whenever I would feel depressed, or if I feel very worked up, like today I was feeling very worked up, I would go, since childhood that was my thing, that I will go and buy a cake, and then I will eat that cake, so and share it with everyone, so this is the thing, and because there is so much of contamination, in food these days, that I don't feel comfortable sharing it. But there were two girls sitting from where I bought this, and I asked them, if you want to eat cake, they said no thank you, and they made little bit of my video, because it was very difficult, to make the video, and I got these Santa earrings today, and I was looking for an exclusive Christmas shop, Tyson's Corner has that. I don't know this year whether they have it or not. So this is that cake I'm eating. What do you do in holidays, I feel depressed, I need sugar, so I'm just eating this cake. And we will do some Christmas songs today. Since childhood, I like story cakes, and I didn't realize that this one is also a story cake.
I don't care about present underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. Yeah. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus will make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. You, baby. Oh, I won't ask for much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. I'm just gonna keep on waiting underneath the mistletoe. I won't make a list and send it to the North Pole for singing. Don't even stay away to hear those magic reindeer click. 'Cause I just want you here tonight, holding on to me so tight. What more can I do? Baby, all I want for Christmas is you. You, baby, oh yeah. All the lights are shining so brightly everywhere, baby. And the sound of children's laughter fills the air. And everyone is singing, oh yeah. I hear those stones ring. Santa, won't you please bring me what I really need? Won't you please bring my baby to me? Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. This is all I'm asking for. I just wanna see my baby standing right outside my door. Oh, I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. Oh, baby, all I want for Christmas is you.
Let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. And the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow and snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really grab me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow Let it snow, let it snow.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you wherever you are. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you wherever you are. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright, all the way. Oh, what fun it is to in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle all the way. Oh, what it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle, jingle bells, oh, it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride, oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh.
Such a humble beginning. His arrival wasn't announced to kings. It wasn't made before large crowds. Jesus' birth was revealed to men protecting sheep. And yet, could this have been any more fitting for a man who would become the greatest shepherd in the world? We're here in Israel. It's episode 1. We're trying to focus on the birth and the infancy of Jesus. So what are some of the things that we're going to try to go see and visit today?
Well, the first thing we're going to go see is down in Bethlehem. This is where the traditional location of where Jesus was born. Of course, we know he was born in the city, but there's a number of different ideas about exactly where. But we're going to go to one particular place called the Church of the Nativity.
Okay, so we know from the Gospels that during a Roman census, Joseph and Mary come down, and when they get down to Bethlehem, there's no room for them in what the English version says is an inn. We have some images in our imagination that we conjure up when we picture an inn.
The word in the book of Luke is the word kataluma, which literally means a guest room. So when they arrived in Bethlehem, there was no room in the guest room.
Okay.
Which makes sense because there were a number of families there who have come for the census.
That's going to be an interesting sight. You know, we're crossing a border there to go into Bethlehem.
Even though Jerusalem and Bethlehem are only 6 miles apart, there is a security barrier there between Israel and the West Bank.
Now, Luke, the historian of the Gospels, records that in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration when Quirinius was governor of Syria, and all went to be registered, each to his own town. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. Now, the text talks about Mary and Joseph going up even though they're heading south. Could you explain that?
The idea here in the scriptures is that you're rising in elevation. The city of Nazareth sits in the Galilean hills, and from the Jezreel Valley, which is fairly close to sea level, you will rise nearly 3,000 feet coming to Jerusalem.
Now, we really want to go see the first century steps at the southern wall of the Temple Mount. There's some significance there to the birth and the infancy of Jesus.
There is. After Jesus was born, his family, being a good Jewish family, went to Jerusalem to have him dedicated at the temple, and they would have gone up those first century steps that we will visit.
All right, so there's some significant events that take place in the life of Jesus, just even at 40 days old.
Bethlehem is only 6 miles to our south. It sits in the West Bank, and so we'll need to travel down there to see all this.
I had no idea Bethlehem was that close to Jerusalem. I'm really excited to go see the Church of the Nativity. When we got to the Church of the Nativity, Barry explained the different sized doors and the humility gate, or the humility door. You have to bow to get underneath it.
What we're looking at here is a statue of Jerome, who translated the Latin version of the Vulgate.
Barry, these arches are incredible.
They are. They're really pretty.
I'm really glad you brought me here.
Oh, this is one of the places I really love to come. But as pretty as this church is, there's something underneath the ground that I think you'll be interested in. Well, one of the things I appreciate about traveling around Israel is because it helps me to make the Bible stories even more real.
Barry, in Matthew chapter 2, Matthew records that after the birth of Jesus, Herod is trying to get him. He's threatened by this king that's going to take his kingdom. And so in a dream, Joseph is told to take Mary, take Jesus, and flee to Egypt. They do that. Herod is frustrated that he missed his opportunity. And so in Matthew 2:16, when he saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, he became furious and sent and killed all the male children in Bethlehem and in all that region who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had ascertained from the wise men. Now, that verse is connected to what we're standing next to.
It is. What they found in here are a number of burial chambers and ossuaries in which small children, very young children, were buried. There's some first century tombs down there that they think this is where a number of the babies that during the first century were buried. And this possibly relates to the story in Matthew's 2nd chapter that we read about.
Now, when my mind goes to that event and I read through the Gospels, I think of a larger city. I think of hundreds of children, thousands of children that would fit that criteria. But that's really not what's going on here, is it?
No, it's not. In fact, Bethlehem of modern day is around 60 to 70,000 people. Bethlehem in the first century would have just been several hundred. And so when we think about all the children who were killed, it wasn't in the hundreds or thousands. It was really probably in the number of dozens. Of course, any death is one too many.
To think about what Herod did because he thought Jesus was a competitor to his throne is just, it's horrifying. It's such a haunting reminder of such a terrible time. And all of that was an attempt to get at Jesus as an infant. It was very sobering. It's very sobering to think about. Down in this cave, they found the remains of children that Herod massacred trying to kill Jesus as an infant. And to think that that was the way things worked. I mean, Herod the Great ended up killing some of his own children, one of his own wives. So it wasn't unprecedented for him. But that's not something that civilized people do. That's not something that's a part of our culture. And so it was sobering. It really established the reality of the event. This isn't something that was imagined. It wasn't something that was made up. You know, with fairy tales and everything else, you want to dress things up and get rid of the ugly parts. And The Gospels don't do that. The Gospels say this is what happened, even if it's not pleasant, even if you wish it hadn't. And that was one of those moments. Up at the front, there are 3 different religious groups, 3 different churches that maintain the main portion of the church. There was one group that came in and they were praying and doing their morning mass. And then another group came in and they were supposed to clean up. And then another group came in and went down and prayed inside of the cave. So to watch multiple groups maintain the same space was really, I mean, it was different. That's not anything I've ever seen. Barry was able to take us to the cave where the traditional location of Jesus' birth was, and the traditional location of where the stone manger was found that he was laid in. When we use the phrase a traditional location, we mean that this location has a rich heritage going back millennia in some instances to identify a general location.
A lot of the times that means we have a history of people passing down that information from generation to generation.
We may not know the exact rock or piece of dirt, but it's fairly confident to say it's in this general area that this event took place. And we should probably add that God never meant for us to worship a piece of ground. He never meant for us to worship a specific site. What was important for him was what happened at those places.
All right, Jeremy, this is what I wanted to show you. We're down in a cave underneath the Church of the Nativity here in Bethlehem. This is the traditional location of where Jesus Christ was born. The 14 points around the star represent the generations from Abraham to David, David to the exile, and the exile to Jesus.
And those 14 generations, those are captured for us in Matthew chapter 1.
That's right.
And all day long, people are going to be coming down here. They're going to be touching it. They're going to be kissing it. They're going to be leaving prayers down in this little alcove. Now, this marks that spot, but there's something else down here we want to see.
Yes, on the other side of the cave here, there is a little alcove in which they believe the manger sat.
Let's go look at that.
Okay.
Barry, we're only about 12 feet away from that 14-pointed star. What is it that we're looking at?
Well, we read in the Bible that after Jesus was born, that they laid him in a manger. As you can see here, we're underneath this little cave, this little alcove in the cave here. This is the traditional location of where that manger laid.
This was a fantastic honor to be able to come down here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the misconceptions that most Westerners have ties back to the idea of Jesus was born in a barn. There was no room in the hotel, so they went to the stables and he was placed in a wooden trough and just that whole picture. And understanding the cultural difference, no, there was no room in the family guest house, so they went to this cave where the animals were kept for privacy and seclusion and placed in a stone manger after he was born. I think corrects a lot of cultural misunderstandings. It's hard to imagine what that must have looked like because so much structure has been built on top of it. It's not natural rock. They've been burning incense down there for millennia. They have pictures of Mary and Jesus as an infant all over the walls. You have all kinds of decorations, and it's just, it's hard to imagine. But one of the things that did help was it communicated the idea of going into a cave. You take these steps down and around a curve, and so you have the sense of you're going underground. You think about the Son of God coming down to earth and being born in the back of a cave with animals in the seclusion and privacy of the hills of Bethlehem, without any trumpeting, without any fanfare, without any attendance other than his parents. And to think about how humble his beginning was. And that was intentional. He was willing to choose that. And to get a better visual of that drives that point home even more strongly. as we walked up to the sheep, they were slowly munching grass coming towards us, and we could hear this underlying crunching and munching. And there were a couple of them that were wearing the bells, so you could hear a couple ringing, and we were trying to figure out which one has the bell around its neck. There was one that looked to be lame, and so he was slowly following all the rest of them. And then to see this young boy, who barely looks like he's in his teens, was leading this flock of dozens of sheep around. And it was just really sweet to watch. It was very tender. One of the things that Luke records for us in chapter 2 is that in the region of Bethlehem, the same region that Jesus was born, that night there were some shepherds out in the field with their sheep. And as they were tending their flocks, an angel came and announced the birth of Jesus. And they celebrated and wanted to go meet him. It would have looked a lot like this. It would have been dark. There would have been the bright light. And as they rejoiced, they would have been excited to know that the Messiah had been born. Being out there on that hillside, it was so much easier to imagine the night of Jesus' birth and to imagine a dark hillside while these shepherds are putting their sheep down for the night. They're resting, it's quiet and calm, and then all of a sudden, there's this angelic announcement about the birth of the Messiah, and they start worshiping and praising, and I've just got that image stuck in my head now.
And our guide actually made a great point when we were out there in the fact that because shepherds are always awake while they're working and because they see other flocks and other shepherds, that the best way during the first century to carry a message out is through the shepherds. And so maybe that was why God chose to send the angels to the shepherds first, because they would be able to spread the word, spread the good news of the birth of Jesus.
One of the things coming to Israel does is it helps put into perspective distances. I always visualize Bethlehem is just an hour's drive or 2 hours drive from Jerusalem. You know, Bethany is so far over here. The Mount of Olives was so far over here. That's not the case. So the distance just from Bethlehem to Jerusalem
Is 6 miles. 6 miles.
that's a 1 hour walk. You know, that's less than a 1 hour walk if you're jogging or really trying to get it done. And so to realize it really wasn't that far from where Joseph's family was to come to the Temple Mount. They had already traveled all the way down from Galilee to Bethlehem. To get from Bethlehem to the Temple Mount was nothing. And to be here in person and to have made that trip puts that in perspective.
And I think also you get an appreciation for not only distance, but altitude. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is from Luke chapter 19, in which it says, and Jesus, after finishing his conversation with people in Jericho, it says he went up to Jerusalem. Well, what does that mean? It's a simple phrase, but what we learn is just within that 15 miles, you go up nearly 3,500 feet in elevation. Your ears are popping and all kinds of things as you go up the hill. It gives you a great appreciation for exactly what Jesus went through as he went up the mountain.
The historian Luke records for us over in chapter 2, when the time came for the purification according to the law of Moses, they brought Jesus up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male who first opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord. Now, we are standing right next to the Temple Mount on a Herodian, a first century road. This is the area that they would have come to present Jesus.
They would have come to Jerusalem to present Jesus in the temple.
So they've come down from Galilee because of the census. They stop in Bethlehem. Mary gives birth there. And then they bring Jesus to the Temple Mount. And we're standing in the shade of the Temple Mount right now. So this is a totally different feel than what they were used to back home up in Galilee. But slower pace, it would have been more calm, more rustic, fewer people. And then they come to the hustle and bustle of Jerusalem.
And this would really be the big city. I mean, they have really come to the big city. Up in Galilee, you have farms and you have, of course, the lake and all the serenity that's up there. But when they came here, this would have been an eye-opening experience for any Jewish people coming from the north.
And we know that they made annual trips down to Jerusalem, but this would have been a special trip.
It would have been for the family, yes.
You know, the birth of their firstborn. They're coming to the temple to dedicate their son. They would have been purchasing some small turtle doves or something from the shops along the way here. How do we know that this is a first century road? What identifies it as that?
Well, this road was uncovered by archaeologists about just couple of decades ago. This road is very typical of roads of that time. It has the same look and feel that other Herodian roads do. As you'll notice, there are some holes in the road. That is caused for two reasons. One is it's 2,000 years old.
Okay.
And so it is just sunk in a little bit. And the other has to do with all these big boulders that are here behind us. We know that in 70 AD, the Romans destroyed the city of Jerusalem. And when they did, they burned the temple and burned a lot of the things up there. In doing so, they pushed a number of the rocks off of the Temple Mount and they landed on this road. And that caused a lot of damage to this road
they're
as well.
huge. I mean, those aren't even potholes. I mean, you could fit a car inside of some of those.
Large holes.
Now, when they uncovered the road several decades ago, to help us understand the size and the weight of those stones, they left the street the way it was.
They did. And it helps us to appreciate just how destructive the Romans were to this city at that time.
There are layers of history to walking on this first century street. We have rubble from the destruction of the Temple Mount in 70 AD by the Romans. To the side, you see the shops. It helps you visualize what was going on around the Temple Mount. And of course, we know that Jesus was frustrated by that when he went there as an adult. The pavement, the stone pavers are huge. They're huge. I mean, everything that Herod did was on such a massive scale. And to see the finesse and the beauty and the scale and just everything was overwhelming.
Being able to walk on that Herodian street, knowing it's the exact same street that many people in the first century would have walked on, that's just awe-inspiring because you realize that you're walking through history.
And when we're there, Barry's trying to reconstruct things for us. So while we're looking at the wall and see just a few stones jutting out of it, he's trying to explain there was this arch that came out and then there were some steps that led down to it. And so he's trying to fill in the gaps and you're trying to picture in your mind's eye what this looked like complete. And he does a great job at that. To get the idea of the magnitude of what we're looking at, there is a rock in that wall under the ground. You can go see that. It's over 500 tons heavy, 45 feet long, and you can see other stones a little bit smaller than that, but still hundreds of tons, and they make up the blocks of this western wall of the temple. And so as you're walking along this first century Herodian street, Mary and Joseph would have been seeing that. You know, it was a source of pride for the Jews to have such a glorious Temple Mount. When we look at the Temple Mount, when we look at the shops and the stones that make up those structures, there's something unique that makes them Herodian as well too. What is that?
King Herod not only built big things, he wanted to make sure that it looked good. And if you'll look at a lot of the stones here on the Temple Mount and the Western Wall and even on these shops behind us, not only are they perfectly cut and perfectly set in place, but they all have little etching around them.
I mean, some of the things that people have pointed out is that you can't even slip a piece of paper. Even now, 2,000 years later, you can't fit a piece of paper into some of those cracks.
That's correct. Each one of these stones was specifically cut for the position it's located.
So that's amazing from a design, engineering, architectural standpoint, that they were able to do something so refined 2,000 years ago.
That's right. Many of these stones were cut from quarries a few miles north of Jerusalem. So it's not even like they were cutting the stones here and could compare them. They had to cut them up there and then bring them down and then chisel them into place to make sure they're exactly the right side, then slide them in.
So coming from Bethlehem, they would have walked down this Herodian first century street. They would have gone around the corner here to the first century steps and entered the Temple Mount that way to present him to the Lord.
That's exactly right.
It would have been a lifetime moment for them. That would have stuck with them for the rest of their lives. I remember how excited I was at the birth of every single one of my children. And I remember how excited I was to introduce them to family. This is their name. Everything that went along with introducing a new life, a new family member. And to stand on that Herodian street at this immense moment for this young couple, this birth of this extra special child that Joseph has chosen to take on as his own, and to think about going there to dedicate him. Just as a father, I think about it from that perspective. And being there on the Herodian street really helped me do that. In this episode of Following the Messiah, we've been to several different places talking about the birth of Jesus. We've talked about Mary and Joseph coming down for the census. They go to Bethlehem. We went to the Church of the Nativity. We went over to the Temple Mount to talk about his dedication. There's something else that we need to focus in on, though. In Luke chapter 1, Luke records for us the announcement of the birth of John the Baptist to his father Zechariah. In that same chapter, the announcement to Mary of the birth of Jesus to his mother. And in both of those instances, each of the parents responds in a similar way. Each one is shocked by the angel appearing to them. Each one is afraid. The angel encourages each one to not be afraid, but to believe and to respond. Zechariah did not, but Mary did. The challenge for us is to figure out how we're going to respond to the birth of Jesus. Are we going to trust the gospel accounts? Are we going to trust them as reliable? Are we going to choose to believe in the miraculous birth of Jesus or not? We hope that during this episode, we've helped to increase the possibility that you too would choose to believe in the Gospels and in the miraculous birth of Jesus.
Vistaprint prints everything to get your brand in front of your fans, like t-shirts, water bottles, and totes, so everyone can gift it, work in it, and take it. Whether it's one of a kind or one for your whole team, if you need it, we print it. Print everything for your business at Vistaprint.com.
Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Those words show the questionable local reputation of this small village. But God had a plan, and that little town was home to God's greatest gift.
Jesus' birth between Islam and Christianity. I was looking for my study Quran from Kindle, but I couldn't get it. But because some miscreants in Montgomery County, they confiscate my Kindle, and they do all kind of arson, bombing, and these kind of things. So they are very active. While I was doing that, I got such a big cigarette burn on my back. Do I deserve this, President Trump and AG Bondi and the whole team at DOJ? Jesus' birth between Islam and Christianity, how the Quran's account of nativity echoes both the Bible and non-canonical Eastern Christian texts. Mustafa Iqbal. Merry Christmas, millions of Christians across the world, and this is the article. Across the world will celebrate. The question is, what is the difference between between the Holy Quran, what says about Jesus, and what it says in the Bible? Merry Christmas. Millions of Christians across the world will celebrate the holy day with these two words. Bells will ring, presents will be shared, and while many will enjoy family time together, the more devout will keep in mind the religious meaning beneath all this fun. The miraculous birth of Jesus of Nazareth, later also called Christ or the Messiah, some 2 millennia ago, a remarkable event that, by giving rise to the world's largest religion to date, changed the course of history. Yet there is something captivating about this remarkable birth of which many Christians may not be aware. It also esteemed by the adherents of the world's second largest religion, Islam. That is because Islam's scripture, the Quran, venerates Jesus, Isa, and his mother Mary, Maryam, as holy figures who preceded the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Jesus is praised not just as a prophet but also as the Messiah. He is even honored as the Word of God, a curious phrase that has intrigued Christian theologians, as it sounds similar to the status of Jesus as the divine logos in their own doctrine. In the Quran, Mary is also praised as a pious and a chaste woman, blessed by the angels who tell her, Mary, God has chosen you and made you pure. He has truly chosen you above all women. In fact, Mary is the only woman in the whole Quran mentioned by name. There is even an entire surah chapter named after her. In this chapter, in this chapter, we read about how Mary conceived her blessed son miraculously without any man touching her. Mention the book, the story of Mary. We sent our spirit to appear before her in the form of a perfected man. She said, I seek the Lord of mercy's protection against you if you have any fear of him. But he said, I am but a messenger from your Lord, come to announce you the gift of a pure son. She said, how can I have a son when no man has touched me? I have not been unchaste. And he said, that is what your Lord says. It's easy for me. We shall make him a sign to all people, blessing from us. Christians who know their Bible may find the Quranic passage familiar, perhaps even biblical, because it has clear parallels with the Gospel of Luke, one of the four canonical Gospels of the New Testament. Here we also read the God sent an angel of Mary foretelling her, you will conceive and give birth to a son. Again, Mary is shocked, asking how this will be since I am a virgin. And again, the angel proclaims a miracle, the Holy Spirit will come upon you and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Such parallels between the Christian and Islamic scriptures have their limits to be sure. Most importantly, while it confirms one pillar of the Christian faith, the virgin birth of Christ, the Quran also emphatically rejects the very crux of that faith, the divinity of Jesus. In the Quranic view, Jesus was miraculously born, but does not make him son of God, let alone God the Son. Instead, he was nothing more than a messenger of God who would never disdain to be a servant of God. That theological gap between Christianity and Islam may be no secret to any of their believers. Yet there is also another gap, a more subtle one, in their accounts of the Nativity, the birth story of Jesus, which Christians celebrate as Christmas. This discrepancy concerns not who just Jesus, but rather where exactly he was born and with what kind of accompanying miracle. So this is little bit about between what is about Jesus in the Holy Quran and in the Bible. And let's be back. Before I dive into that, I want to remind you that these are my two books, and both were Amazon bestsellers in USA, and this one was Amazon bestseller in India, and this one, the Modern Mughal Mentality, was hot number one new release on Amazon in USA. And I want both a movie or a documentary to be made of Modern Mughal Mentality, as well as a movie or a documentary to be made of outbreak of a monstrous infection. And so Merry Christmas, everyone. And today I went to a mall and I saw that. Hello everyone, this is the Christmas tree. I love Christmas tree. Since childhood. I went to a Vatican school, and since childhood. I was looking for netiquette and all those, that where I can see those things, but I cannot see them here. Hello everyone, this is your loving host and best-selling author, radio and TV personality, and here the Christmas thing is there, and the Christmas thing is there. So I am just making it for you guys. You know what is the holiday spirit? So this is what it is. And best-selling author, radio and TV personality, Dr. Afshan Hashmi, and see the holiday spirit. And let's, this is holiday spirit, and you see this. My mom used to cut the cake very nicely. So what do you think of this cake? So what do you think about this cake? How do you celebrate your holidays? I got some shopping also done today. These little things make you happy. So let's see. So this. So I got this. Let's see. I got this, and then I got this. I got this, and also I got. Yes. So this. And also I got this. I went to the mall and I got this. These stresses me out, these kind of little things, and of course, everyone needs some friends here, but my friends are books and research papers and all. So I wanted to take a break from books and research papers, and this is so cool. So, so this is what it is, and I love this. So this is my holiday cake. This is not my Christmas cake. I will inshallah dress up very nicely on Christmas Day and then make a video of that. Thank you. Bye bye.
And then I did a day of a Rockets experience, which is a day you do the backstage tour, and you do a mini class with one of the wow, like looking up to these girls, just thinking how amazing they are.
The Rockettes are a holiday staple in New York. American families take their children to the city to see the group perform. Many of the adults remember the experience as children themselves. The Rockettes must endure 6 weeks of grueling rehearsals.
It's a lot of work for the Rockettes. They're in a lot of numbers. There's 8 production numbers, so we have a lot to do, and we have 2 casts working at the same time. So we have 80 Rockettes in the room that are all learning the choreography, learning the spots that they're going to, and we're trying to perfect everything.
The Rockettes rehearse 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. After that, for 2 weeks, they prepare on stage in costume and with the orchestra. During the holiday season, from November through the beginning of January, the group performs up to 6 shows per day. That's 1,500 high leg kicks per person per day.
When I auditioned for the Rockettes, it became clear right away that this was going to be a very challenging job. It looks very easy on stage, but there's so much practice and precision that goes into the job.
Kristen Jancy has been a Rockette for 10 years, Courtney Rottenberger for 4. She wants to dance on stage for as long as possible.
Being a Rockette was my dream, and I'd love to be a Rockette for as many years as I can be. And then after my Rockette career is over, I'd love to be a mother. I have a degree in psychology, so I'd like to revisit that.
Courtney's parents brought her to Radio City Music Hall to see the Rockettes when she was 3 years old. If she has a daughter of her own, she wants to do the same for her, just in case she wants to become a Rockette too. For reporter Victoria Kupchanetsky, Ramon Taylor, VOA News, New York.
So, folks, let's play some more Christmas songs.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly, deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly, deck the halls with boughs of holly, rocking around Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
Every who and who Newville liked Christmas a lot. But without help from Walmart, stress-free it was not.
I wish there was a way for Who Newville to get everything.
I love those Jingle bells. Oh, those holiday Jingle bells. Oh, those happy Jingle bells. I love those Jingle bells. Oh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow
Rudolph.
in a one-horse open sleigh.
Today,
O'er the fields we go,
Rudolph.
laughing all the way.
Today, bells on bobtail ring, making our spirits bright.
What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
I love those Jingle bells. Oh, those holiday Jingle bells.
Oh, those happy Jingle-E-double-L-S. I love those jingle bells all the way.
Jingle all the way.
Merry Christmas.
Suelte eso, señora.
Ay.
¿Otra vez les vas a regalar calcetines y boxers?
Tus hijos ya tienen 25 años.
Mira, los mejores regalos
and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game.
Let's see how Christmas is celebrated in Saudi Arabia. So I have a question from Basha Salamat King Salman. What do you do on Christmas? Do people come and meet you? And Prince MBS, do people come and meet you? And what the royal family does that? I would like to know that. Having said that, folks, and yes, also PM Modi, what do you do on Christmas? Do you meet people or what you do? So, and also, of course, the President Trump, President Biden, AG Bondi, and everyone, Adok Callaghan, and all, what do you do on Christmas? I would like to know. Having said that, folks, I would like to get a sponsorship of this show, which is syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. So if you give me sponsorship, uh, I will give you a very reasonable price. And yes, keep me in prayers in Christmas. I am a widow. I don't have anybody to celebrate Christmas. So I will just, give a show or go out and enjoy and come back. That's what it is. And I remember my husband Mustafa and my best friend Owas, and if they are listening in heaven, and my grandpa and everyone, my parents used to put stockings and toffees in stockings, and I used to ask, so they used to say that they used to show me Santa Claus, and that Santa Claus does that. And in my school, because it was a Christian missionary school which was affiliated to Vatican, I had French sisters, and they were so beautiful, and like a doll, and then when I grew up, little by little they trained, and then they left. And then Mother Stanislaus, if you are listening in heaven, I love you a lot. Sister Anita, if you are listening, Sister Christina, and everyone, all my teachers, who with whom I have celebrated Christmas, I love you a lot, and I love you a lot, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. Bye bye, and Saturday Night Fever is over.